Hey everybody! So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this super easy, quick little greeting card. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a birthday card. It's just kind of an all occasions card. I like this card because it's perfect for that girl in your life that's kind of girly, but's not into that like all over pink, purple, glittery kind of stuff. So it still has some feminine touches with the flowers, but it's much more gender neutral. You could even give this to a guy. I don't know if I have tons of guys in my life I would give this to, but you definitely could. There are tons of options to do with this card. So this is my card my sample card that I made. I'm actually going to be showing you a different version of this same card. The only difference is with the flowers. So you'll really have two options where you can decide which one you like the best. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so to make our card, we're going to be using 3 different colors of cardstock and 1 piece of designer series paper. So over here I have a piece of Lost Lagoon that is 8.5 by 5.5. So you just take your standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut it in half, and that'll give you your card base, standard card base. We also have another piece of Lost Lagoon that is more so, it was just a scrap actually, but what you want to do is make sure that it is greater than the width of what your designer series paper piece is going to be, and this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. So you want it to be wider than this because this is going to create our little banner, and it's easier to attach if you have some tabs on the side. Then we have, this is a piece of Delightful Dijon. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have just another scrap of Whisper White here. This is what we're going to actually be cutting our flowers out of in this card. So to get started, I'm actually going to bring this piece back. I'm going to take this stamp from the stamp set. So it is our little flowers that coordinates with our punch. I'm going to go ahead and use my Delightful Dijon, and I'm going to stamp this twice so that we get 6 flowers total. And you can stamp it as many or as few times as you want. Sometimes, I've made tons of cards with this stamp set, by the way. So far, I'm going to clean my stamp off to the side, so that's what you'll hear in the background. But I've made tons of cards with this stamp set so far, and I really like it, but I feel like every card is different. Every card requires a different number of flowers, a different this, a different that, so every card is truly going to be different, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it. So now what we're going to do is take our punch, and I cannot remember the name of this punch, but it'll be on the screen. So we're going to take our punch, and I'm just going to try and line these flowers up the best I can from this angle because I don't want my big noggin to get in the way. I'm going to tilt this for just a second to make sure that they're lined up. And whoops. The punches are really easy. Sorry, I'm being super quiet. The punches are super easy to use. I just am not good at lining things up. So there's one punch, and then we're just going to punch the second set out. If I can figure out how to do it centered. Yeah, that's close enough for me. Okay, so now we have our 6 flowers. I'm going to toss this off to the side, put my punch off to the side as well, and I'm just going to take my flowers and scooch them off for just a little bit because we don't need those right this second. Next, we're going to take that scrap piece of paper that I was just talking about that is in Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to take this sentiment that says "You are totally awesome," and we're going to be using Basic Gray to stamp that on this little piece. Now, the other sentiments in this set are "You are loved a lot" and "I am totally grateful," and I think those are great stamps. Great little sentiments, but like I said, I was trying to make this more of a unisex card. You could very easily use this as a masculine card. If you didn't want to put flowers, you could do something else. This is a very, very easy card to turn masculine, and that's why I like it so much. So I thought the "You are totally awesome" sentiment was really easy to kind of be a masculine or a more masculine sentiment. So like I said, we're going to be using Basic Gray. And I honestly don't use Basic Gray that much, so I decided to go ahead and try and use it a little bit more. And I'm going to stamp this up a little bit from the bottom and to the side. So you have to think that you're going to have a tab here. So you have some wiggle room. You can really play with it. I'm just going to clean my stamp off really fast. And that's all the stamping that's on this card. And basically the card's close to being done. What I'm going to do now is just take my trimmer. This is the Fiskars Smart Cut trimmer or something like that. I don't really remember exactly what it's called, but I'm going to just kind of eyeball this and see where it best is going to be to cut and try and center it. So that's way too much on this top end, so I'm just going to stick this little bad guy back down in here, trim off another little slice, see if I like that more, and I do think I like that a little bit more. I think I might want it a little bit thinner on each end. So I'm going to trim that off, and then I'm going to flip it around and trim another little piece off. And I like that. This is a little bit thinner than I think my demo was. I think this one was a little bit thicker, but because I'm going for a different look with this one, why not spice it up and do something different? The Fiskars trimmer, I like it. It's okay. It's not the best that I've ever seen. It's not the best I've ever used. I'm going to be purchasing the Stampin' Up! Trimmer here pretty soon, but it's just one of those things, like I already have a trimmer that works fine, so I can't really justify doing it right now. So it's in the works, but it's not something that I'm going to do right this second. So with that being said, we're going to take our little piece of designer series paper, and I don't even think I told you guys, this paper is from the Going Places paper stack, so mine actually split in half when I pulled that piece out, so that's kind of unfortunate, but it's got all this nice paper in it, and a lot of these are very, very masculine, so that's why I wanted to kind of grab this stack and make a card using it. The papers are beautiful in it. There's tons of different marbly ones, compasses, maps, boats, all that kind of stuff. So this is a really, really good stack to use, especially I think if you're trying to do a more masculine card, this one is awesome. So anyways, that's where this little piece came from. So what I'm going to do is take my adhesive. This is the Tombow Mono Permanent Adhesive. You can use snail adhesive. You can use whatever you want. This is just what I'm deciding to use. And I want to make sure that I get a lot of adhesive on the very ends, because those are going to be our tabs. And that's really what's going to help stick our card together. So then what I'm going to do is just kind of put this where I want it. I want my sentiment to be on the right hand side, but I want it to be in a little bit, and that's about it. Looks good to me. So I'm just going to put that down, make sure it's nice and secure, flip it over, and just flip my little tabs over. Since there's already adhesive on those, they just stick down perfectly, and our card is almost done. So the last thing, well, a couple more things, but the next thing is what I should say that we're going to be doing is putting our little flowers on here. Now, I decided to go ahead and do these flowers on white. Like you can see in this one, I did the flowers on the Delightful Dijon, and I think it looks nice. I just don't feel like I get that intensity of the actual design of the flower because I did the tone-on-tone stamping. So I thought I would try doing white. I'm still not 100% thrilled with it, but I do like it. I think it looks very pretty, and it gives it a different look. It's definitely, it's not the same as the other one. So I think that placement of the flowers is really nice. And I'm going to go ahead and my two bigger flowers, I'm going to stick straight down onto the card. I'm not going to do dimensionals for those. So the two bigger ones, those just get stuck down. Don't really matter. And I think for this little guy, I'm going to stick him straight down onto the card as well. And then I'm going to be using some Stampin' Dimensionals with my other three flowers and put those on the card and give them a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to just use the scraps from the side of my dimensionals. If you have these. If you don't already use them, use them. It's dimensional, like it's there, and I think that's probably like the best area because you get to make whatever shape you want. You don't have to stick to the what is it, a hexagon? Is that what it is? I don't know how many sides are on a dimensional. I've never counted actually. But you get to decide how big you want it and that kind of stuff, and it's pretty easy to do. So I'm just taking some dimensionals, like I said, and sticking the 3 remaining flowers on. And I like doing this because it gives the card a little bit more movement, especially because not everything has the dimensionals on it. It kind of moves your eye around because it's not sure, like, oh, that, you know, these are flat and then these are popped up. It just gives it a little bit more interest. So we are super close to being done now, I promise this time. So we're going to take our little image that we just put all of our flowers on, and we're going to stick some dimensionals on the back of this, one in the center so we don't sag. And I'm telling you guys, this is a super stinking simple card. It's not hard to do. You could really whip these out in no time. If you wanted to use this as like a thank you card or some kind of greeting card for like a group of people or something like that, this would be super easy to do because it's such a fast and simple card. So I just put that on my piece of Delightful Dijon. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put this straight down onto my card base. I need my card base and I need my bone folder, which I just had. It's somewhere around here. Oh, is that it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to fold this guy in half. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Use my bone folder to really stick it down. Oops. And now I'm going to take my piece of, or my other piece. Whoa, I'm not doing this very well. I have a really hard time centering things. I've come to learn that very quickly from making cards. I have a hard time centering things. But that's it. That's our little card. So you can tell these two it's the exact same design, but they both have a different look. This is definitely a softer look, and I think I might, you know what, I'm going to totally mix it up here and go off the rail. We're going to change up the design a little bit. We're not really changing it. I just think I need another flower down here. I think because I made the banner thinner and I moved this up a little bit more, I moved the banner up and it's thinner, so I just feel like it's missing something. And I didn't stamp that in the best way, so now we're going to have to, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm making things very complicated now. Where is my punch? Okay, so let me cut this off. Hopefully I cut enough off to where we can slide her in here and still manage. Ah! And I'm sorry for the shadow again, guys. I think I got the glare. I think I solved the glare issue, but now I feel like there's a worse shadow coming from this side over here because I moved my light. Okay, that is just going to have to be good enough. Okay. So let's see which flower. I'm trying to work on the whole lighting thing. I'm going to get some studio lights and put them behind the camera so it just looks better, but that's going to be down the road a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually going to use both of those little flowers. This one I'm going to put flat onto the card, and then this one I'm going to use another little dimensional. Whoa, I don't need that whole thing. Just stick that bad boy down. And then stick that right there. Okay, so I am much happier with this card than the last, or than before we added our little flowers. But these are two cards. Again, they're basically the same concept. They're the same design. They just have a little bit of difference to them. And I think both of these cards are beautiful, and anybody would be super happy to receive these. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Check out my coordinating blog post that will be linked down below to find all of the products used and links to all of the products used. Also, you can check out my blog and see all the fun stuff that I'm doing that I'm not posting videos about. And hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!